Welcome to Let's Look At, and today we have Kerbal Space Program, currently available on Steam Network for $22.99 or your regional equivalent. So first and foremost, let's take a look at the settings menu and see what we have going on in here. Now this game is still in beta, technically, but it's available for early access on the Steam Network. So of course here is our general menu we have set up here, where we can show vessel labels, and we can change things around like the UI size and whatnot. Of course, we go to the input, we can change how the key map's laid out. Graphics, we can change from full screen to windowed mode or whatever we so choose. And we can change our audio sliders here as well. So, very simple, basic layout for the settings menu. We will go back now. Kerbal Space Program was made and produced by Squad, so kudos for them for doing all the legwork. Let's go ahead and get started with the game, shall we? Now, they have a training mode where you actually learn how to control and pilot in space, or you can do a scenario they have already pre-selected, or you can start a new game yourself, which you can do whatever you feel. We're going to go ahead and start a new game. I will make a new profile by simply typing in my name, Graz. And since right now we can't do career mode, we'll go straight to sandbox. So we're going to overwrite an old game that was already made. I have already went ahead and played around with the game itself. Now this is the menu area where you can do various different things. This building right here will allow you to build spaceships. This building over on the far top left will allow you to build planes that you could fly. On the bottom, we have a place for all of our Kerbals. Down there, as you can see, here's our available, and we can actually hire more if we so choose. There are pilots in training. Of course, over here, we can actually track anything in orbit already, which we don't have to worry about since we haven't put anything in orbit just yet. So let's go back to the menu, and we will go ahead and build a new rocket. So you don't really have to actually build a new rocket. What you could do is choose something that's already pre-built. They have a load menu up here. As you can see, various different things already in setup, whether you can do a 2-stage lander, a super heavy lander, or space station core, whatever. I will select a super heavy lander. It's already pre-built. And we'll take a quick peek at that. And as you can see, there we go. We can actually control the screen by moving the mouse wheel up and down, simply. You can rotate it around by simply right-clicking to get a better look. And you can select objects on the left-hand side of your screen with the left mouse button. And of course, as you build each stage, you'll have that on the bottom right, which you can choose to whether break off certain things by using disconnectors or whatnot. So it gets really interesting. So this is a basic heavy-duty lander. So we'll just go ahead and skip that. Actually, you know what? We'll start off with a new rocket. So of course, I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm still trying to get the hang of the game itself. So for any new type person, basically you'll start off with something simple like that. There's your fuel tank. Then you'll have a cockpit. I said cockpit. Alright, get it out of your system now. There we go. So that'll be where our Kerbals will stay. Now of course I'm going to go ahead and throw some other things in here, like an advanced SAS module for control and whatnot. And I'll throw an advanced stabilizer in here as well. You don't have to have these things in here. Well, you probably should, but you'll learn as the game goes along what to put in and what not to put in. So we'll move that up there. And you can actually move your pieces around by left-clicking and releasing. You don't have to drag them. You just left-click, place it, left-click again. Simple as that. So we have our big tank right here. This is a tank full of fuel. The next thing we'll want to put on there would be a rocket, or an engine rather. So once I go to the proper area, I'll go ahead and place a mainsail engine. There we go. So this will be one stage. As a matter of fact, I want to put another tank of gas on there. So what I'm going to do is grab another one. And this will be my bottom layer. Actually, you know what? This will be my top layer, excuse me. Because I've already got the parts up there. So I'm going to go over to structural. And I'll get a disconnector. Or is it? Or separator. Never mind. And I'll put that where my rocket is. There we go. Now we'll take you and place that right where that's at. So you already see how this is being built. I'll put my nose right there. As you can see, nothing fancy. There we go. Once again, I will place another engine down the bottom for this rocket. Another mainsail. This should get us in the outer space. So as you can see it down on the bottom right hand side, we already have our stages. Our first stage will be this little rocket right there. And actually we're going to need something to hold the rocket itself up. So I'm going to go and get this launch stability enhancer. And I'm going to go ahead and actually go make that 3 pieces. So we'll have 3 little pieces around here. As you can see, that little button I clicked on the bottom left actually gives you a way to hold it. Or you can put multiple different things, and instead of 1 you can put 3. Rocket's now done. All we have to do is give it a name. So we'll just call this the Mark 1 and get it over with. Oh, there we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and launch this sucker. So we'll click the launch button over on the top right. And this will take us to our launching area, where we can get a nice little view of it. And from there, we'll go ahead and get this thing into space. So, first and foremost, you'll notice on the bottom right, there's our little Kermans or Kerbals. Bill Kerman, Jebediah, and Bob. Well, there's our brave souls who are risking their lives for space exploration and beyond. So let me go ahead and throw up that throttle with the right shift, or left shift I should say. Then the space bar will get us into stages, so it'll drop our little holding gear and initiate the rocket, like so. Now I'll dethrottle with the left control key, because there will be engine overheat down here. It'll show up. And if it overheats, it gets really nasty. Okay, there it is. So we just got to keep an eye on that so it don't overheat. And with that, we could be able to get in space. It could take a little time, but we should be able to get there with no problems. This is a fairly stable build. Even if it looks like crap, it gets us into space. Now eventually when this tank runs out, we'll press space button. This will decouple and we'll go ahead and fire up this tank and this rocket. And that's how we do it. My only mission right now is to get into orbit, so later on you can do advanced fancy builds that'll take you right to the moon. But you can put different satellites into orbit, you can put pods into orbit, you can go to the moon, you can do much more. You can do interstellar space travel. And it's really neat. You can do so much more with the plane aspect too. So that's really cool indeed. There's so much in this game. Pretty good for $22.99, or your regional equivalent. So our liquid fuel is about to run out relatively soon. And once that happens, we'll just break right off. By the way, you can actually scroll around by holding the right mouse button and just moving right around. There we go, burnt out. There's our breakaway. Okay, so we're actually, what, about 6,500? Oh, what do we got? No, we're not aborting. No, we are not aborting. Once you get to be about 75,000 meters above, you're generally in space. Anything below that, you could be falling right back into Kerbal space, land, whatever. You could crash right back down to the planet. So basically, once we get out there, we should be good. I think we'll make it okay. With this engine, the further we go out, the more our altitude will rapidly increase. So if you sit back and watch it, you can clearly see it's picking up in speed. We should be pretty good. Alright, since our overheat's not a problem just yet, let me just go ahead, throw a little bit more into the throttle. There we go. And of course, there's that little altitude thing right there. It tells us how far we are to space as well. Alright, so we're getting pretty close. Okay, liquid fuel is getting a little bit low. We should be pretty good. There we go. Worst case scenario, we got that last tank that'll get us out there. Oh yeah, we got this. See? We got this. There we go, 40,000 and climbing. So it looks like we'll have to blow this tank in order to get out there. But, you know what? Okay, 51, 52. Yeah, we'll have to blow it. Alright, so we'll just hold on to this for a little bit. Still climbing, so I'm not going to blow it just yet. We may be able to break it without blowing it. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're in space. Now we are good. So let's go ahead and position this. Try to get in orbit. And once we're able to get in orbit, we won't be able to fall out. So this is just the basics of Kerbal Space Program. There's so much more to it. You'll have to get it and try it out for yourself. Let me just roll this ship over a little bit. There we go. Yes, there we go, okay. You can use the Q and the E keys to go ahead and roll your ship. WASD will actually control how the ship maneuvers. So it's pretty simple. So I'm going to go ahead and try to bring you down on a plane. There we go. And once we get to there, we can use the M key to bring up a map. And everything looks pretty good. So there's our Apopus. There's our high point in the actual orbit. That's kind of where we want to get to. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up time just a little bit here. First, let me dethrottle. And I'll speed up. Alright, so I'm at the highest point in outer space right now. So I want to go ahead and make the adjustment so I don't have an orbit where I crash back into planet Kerbal. Let's go ahead and get back to that little crosshair, whatever you want to call it right there. Then we're going to go ahead and break off and raise that throttle. And this should be pretty good to get us in a pretty decent orbit. So if we can lock that in its place. And you'll see our little blue pathway here is going to start getting bigger and bigger. And this is basically our orbit around the planet. So yes, as we increase on that, eventually this little orb will get big enough to the point where it'll encompass the whole planet. And we should be pretty good. We just have to keep it focused on a little yellow crosshair. There we go. And that's been it for the basic intro to Kerbal Space Program. So if you found this video informative or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. Leave any questions or comments down below in the comment area. I'd love to hear from you. So have yourselves a wonderful day. If not, just simply fake it. Enjoy the view from up here, as planet Kerbal looks quite beautiful at this time of day in space. I'll see you guys again next time.